Hey guys, how we doing? Sean from The Good Dog on a beautiful day. What do we got? Friday? Beautiful Friday here in Los Angeles, California. And I wanted to talk to you guys about risk. Risk with your dogs. It's always a challenging one when clients ask us about, can we do this? Is this okay? Can we have our dogs off leash? Can we have our dogs at the dog park? Can my dog go to daycare? Can our dogs coexist together? Can we have this? It could be, a million different things. And it's so hard to answer because, for one, we've seen dogs surprise us a million times. We've seen situations that shouldn't work. We've seen situations that should work, not work. So there's always like the doggy kind of like mystery factor. Like, so part of it is like, I hate to give absolutes because I've been proven wrong. And so I never want to tell a client that'll never happen. And so it always makes it a little bit of a challenging endeavor to like kind of navigate that when clients ask like, can I do any of the things that I just kind of listed? And so what I wanted to talk about was something me and Henri were talking about: risk and dogs and like pushing boundaries and like where's safety and where's it not. And kind of a cool thing that just like, maybe this is simple for you guys, but I had a real kind of moment of clarity with it, and that was that you've got like this one side, my hand, right? This one side, and this one side is absolute safety, right? This is absolute safety, and then you got way over here, which is way more risk, right? And then in between you got all these different degrees, all these I'm trying to make my hand work right. All these variables, right, that take you from absolute safety to high risk. And absolute safety, if you're talking about like, is it okay to have my dog off leash on hikes? Well, absolute safety would say, don't take your dog on a hike because your dog might get bum rushed by dogs that are off leash, even if your dog's on leash. If your dog's on a hike off leash, right? Like, let me backtrack. Can I take my dog on a hike? So that brings up like, cool, my dog's on a hike, I'm on leash, or not, I'm on leash. My dog's on leash, we're on a hike, and we're out in a spot where a lot of people hike with their dogs. Now, we've just upped the degree of danger, right? Hiking with your dog, teeny bit more. Not hiking with your dog, just walking your dog in your neighborhood, much safer. As soon as we get out on that hike, we move just a little bit down this line. Now, like I said, dogs can bum, it happens all the time. People are out on walks, they've got their own dog on leash, and their dogs get bum rushed, attacked, stuff like that. So that's 1 degree up. Then, what about if I want to have my dog, like, maybe I'll just put him on a long line so I have better control. Now your dog's at a greater distance from you and has more flexibility, more room to move and groove, more trouble to potentially get into. You've moved another degree. Now, what about if I've got my dog e-collar trained, I want to have him completely off leash, and I'm going to let him like stay kind of close to me, but I've got him on e-collar and I've got good control of him. You've just moved another degree, right? Because now you don't have a leash on him, you don't have a long line on him. Now you've got less control and you've probably got more distance going on, right? So do you see how this is kind of working? So the answer to these questions are really hard because they're not about like yes or no or black and white. They're about varying degrees, tiny little bits of more risk involved. And as an owner, you have to make these decisions based on weighing those options or the odds of risk. Like Brittany said, risk versus reward, right? So like the reward of like having more off-leash fun versus the risk of danger, potential interactions with dogs, things like that. So what I want everybody to start to see is like how this works, like that there's no black and white, that it's just these varying degrees, and you make those decisions about how much risk you want to expose you and your dog to, and that there's the one side super cautious, super careful, and very little risk, and maybe potentially less reward, and then starting to up those degrees and making informed decisions. The best thing you can do with this is try and make healthy, smart, informed decisions based on your own dog and your own abilities. If you've got a dog that's dog dodgy, then that's a dog that moves even more degrees versus, you know, off leash hiking versus a dog that like is pretty bomb proof. So there's so many variables, there's so many components that change where this ends up, and your job is to figure out what you're comfy with and understand that each little step you take down that line adds a little more potential. Can my dogs, or like I had a client ask recently, can my dog go to work with me and whose dog is, you know, has had dodgy interactions with other dogs, has gone after other dogs, and is not always dog comfortable. Can my dog be go to work with me? So ultimate safety, there's other dogs at the office, right? And they're not very well behaved. Ultimate safety, no, dog stays at home in a kennel, crate, boom. 100% safe, no problems, no negative interactions, no moving backwards, no mistrust, no tension, no grudges or any of that stuff created, right? But not as much fun, right? The reward, no, not, you know, it's down here. Bring the dog to work, putting a dog in an office where it's enclosed and safe and none of these other misbehaving dogs can get to your dog, that's a pretty minor risk, right? As long as you've got like a good like entrance and exit at your office to be safe, cool. Now, if you've got an open floor plan office and there's a bunch of dogs in there, you've just moved up considerably in the risk department. Now, if you've got dogs in that open floor plan office that are also off leash and wandering and have varying degrees of behavioral issues and varying degrees of control, you've just moved even further. So safest, dog stays at home in a crate, whatever the situation is, at home in the house. A little bit less, dog goes into private office, dog doesn't have to deal with any kind of wayward behavior, any naughty dogs. A little bit less, dog in an open floor plan place, dogs wandering around, it just gets worse and worse, right? So you guys see where I'm going with this. So the question is really like, how much risk with your specific dog can you personally deal with, and do you want to deal with? Is it good for your dog? Is it healthy for your dog? Does your dog enjoy it? Or is it just something that you want? That's another thing that you have to factor into it. But it really comes down to gauging this stuff and then making informed decisions about, like, because your ability, your relationship with your dog, your control, your level of respect that your dog has for you, your level of confidence that you have taking your dog into like dodgy situations has a lot to do also with the degree of safety or risk, right? So I might be able to take a dog into a situation, and I don't mean this in a like cocky way, but I might be able to take a dog into a situation where our relationship will create different reactions and more safety and less risk, right? In the same context that the owner might have way more risk, because they don't have the same relationship, they may not have the same timing, they may not have the same intuition or mechanics with the tools and things like that, and so their risk goes up. So this is just it's a cool conversation. I'm being bugified. It's a cool conversation for you guys to kind of entertain and start thinking about, rather than thinking about yes or no, black and white, can I do this, can I do this? Instead, think about varying degrees of risk and then how much you want to bring into your life and your world with your dog. And a lot of that should be based on you, your relationship, and who your dog is and what your dog is capable of, what your dog enjoys, what your dog doesn't enjoy. So it's something that I like, because when I say I like the clarity of that, because for me this is always a hard one, because I don't like giving absolutes, because I don't want an owner not to grow. I don't want a dog not to have an ability to spread its wings, if you will, and find that it's able to do more than what it could do 6 months ago, a year ago. And as the dog expands and grows and the client expands and grows, does the ability or does the latitude that you're able to comfortably and safely kind of investigate, does that change? Yes, it does. So that's why like absolutes suck, and that's why I hate giving them, and that's why I really like this, because this puts the responsibility in the owner's hands to, along with us as a team, but to assess that risk degree, right? Or I should say, we started out safety over here, so safety versus risk, and then where do you want to play in that kind of realm, and where is it safe to play, and how do you want to best navigate it? And I think this might be helpful for other dog trainers to be able to articulate this to clients, rather than, I think a lot of times dog trainers just default to yes or no's. Don't do this, don't do this. And sometimes it's helpful because clients get into danger spots where they're gray areas and they don't know. And so sometimes black and whites can be super helpful. But once again, the danger or the risk of a black and white or absolute answer is that oftentimes it doesn't leave any room for growth. So that's the challenge. That's always the challenge for me, is trying to keep the dog and the client safe and in a good spot, but still leave that door open for growth without encouraging them to take risks that they shouldn't take. You see how complicated this is. If I could live with them and be with them, we could do this organically, and I could be like, today your dog is ready for this. But without us being there, without living with them, there's no ability to do that. And so you're relying on the client's judgment, and they're not, most of them are not like dog trainers. They're not people that have spent, years and years cultivating dog training skills. So it puts us in a bit of a dicey predicament of like, we can give you black and whites and it's super easy to navigate. And there are certain situations where I'll give clients black and whites on like certain protocols. Your dog's not allowed to look at dogs because your dog is reactive and explodes no matter what. Certain things like that, I'll give black and whites. But on kind of like the bigger picture, like growth and development, what your dog can and can't do, always a hard one. Always a hard one for me, because I've seen dogs grow and expand. I've seen them be able to do things that they couldn't do before. I've seen clients able to do things they couldn't do before. So I always want to leave that door open, but I also want to keep them safe. And so there's no perfect way to do that, and that's the challenge. So the part of me that wants to keep them safe wants to give them an absolute and say, don't do this, don't do any of that. And the part that wants me to help them grow wants to say, be really smart, be really slow, take your time, be organic, be tuned in, advance your skills, advance your dog skills, and watch really carefully and be really sensitive to what's possible and what's not possible. And don't move too fast, which a lot of people can do when they see good results. They move too fast. Don't underestimate the potential that comes beyond just your dog, just the potential of other dogs being in the situation. That's so much of it, That's why like people are like, well, my dog's cool. Can I go to the dog park? And we're like, we're not big on dog parks. We'll tell clients straight up, I really would rather you not go to a dog park or daycares, because dogs get bullied there. Your dog might be great, but we see so many dogs come in that have had negative experiences there that we tell our clients not to go. If they say like, put their foot down, I want to go, hey, it's your call, but I want to let them know why we prefer them not to do it. So once again, risk, reward, and clients have to figure out where they want to sit with that, or safety versus risk, and kind of navigate that. So it's a tough one, guys. Dog trainers aren't able to see into the future. They're not able to see what kind of work, what kind of focus, what kind of effort clients are going to put in, or what kind of judgment they're going to use. And we're not able to see like what kind of environment you're going to put your dog into, whether they're safe or not, what kind of dog, just like you don't even know what's at the dog park or what's on that hike as far as like other dogs and things like that. There's so many variables, guys. So And you tell, like, it's a flustering hard one because I want to give people the best information I can give them. And the problem is that information changes in every context, in every situation, and it changes as you grow or as you move backwards if you're not growing, if you're not doing your work, if you're letting your dog kind of unravel, or your skills, you're not focused on improving them. So anyways, that's kind of it, guys. We've got safety and we've got risk, and we've got a million degrees in between, and your job is to assess where you should sit in each context, each situation, and be crystal clear and really honest with yourself about you, your dog, and that environment, and then figure out where you're comfortable at, and be super honest with yourself about it. Super important. Anyways, hope it's some food for thought. Any questions, hit me up. This is just kind of an off the top of the head little rant about this, or talk, if you will, and hopefully it has some value for you guys. All right, guys, take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.